5.5 inches of rain in that gauge since the 16th of May. This is Memorial Day weekend. This is the 26th. Food plotting. Going to be a tough year for that, especially for your summer annuals and your late fall annuals, like your corn and your soybeans. That's where it's going to come in handy when you got your perennials and your late season annuals that you plant, your borascas and beet types. Because your corn and soybeans could be really screwed up this year with this much rain. Well, it's been a while. Here it is, June 5th. It's been a real challenging year for everybody that works outside, especially trying to plant stuff. I tried to plant some corn on May 16th, and we'll take you up and show you the results. Since May 16th, we've had over 10 inches of rain down here in Clark County, and it's really been devastating. So it's not been a good growing year, but that's things you're going to be faced with when you try to plant food plots, be it spring or annual. It's either going to be too dry, or unfortunately this year it's been super wet, and some poor souls have lost everything with flooding. That seed is soybeans and some oats and stuff that I had a variety of annuals. It's been in that van for over a month. So let's venture up here and see what the corn looked like. Let's see if I can still get up the road. Everything is brilliant green. Grass is 2 feet tall. Just been impossible to work down here. Here's an interesting thing here for some of you. This was about spending money on the front end. There's a pipe culvert underneath this ditch. It's been in here for 9 years now, and it cost a little bit of money to put in there, but it was well worth it. Held back a lot of water. There's an owl up here in the tree. I'm going to try to get it. Oh, it's a turkey vulture. Huh. Anyhow, I don't know how many thousands of gallons of water have traversed down through that culvert. Many, and as you can tell, I made a makeshift dam up there a few years ago to help hold it back, break the flow, and it's worked. But it didn't come without, spending time and money. But it was well worth it, because without this road, you wouldn't be able to get up here. I got to walk up here and see if the van can get up through here. Yeah, it was where we parked the planter, and it was starting to rain on the evening of May 16th, and it never quit raining for a month. Well, as we approach this cornfield, I do see some corn that's up. It surprisingly, because I didn't have time to film it. Don't look very good. Few rows. Still really wet. Oh man. I don't know what went on here. I guess just too much rain. Way too much rain. you can see where it was standing in here. Corn is starting to emerge, but you got all different sizes of it, and you can see how it's really been compacted down here. Now we can walk over here. That corn there is about not much more than an inch tall. This area in here, it just was just soaked. And like I say, the corn is trying its darndest to emerge, but it's so under so much stress that, oh well, just the challenges that you have. That residual herbicide has helped kill some of these weeds off, but the bad part about it is with the corn residue, even though after mowing, it's a twofold thing. It holds the moisture, and that's good if you're going to no-till, but your field is still going to be wet. And oh, it's not the end of the world by any means. I'm just trying to show you what 10 to 12 inches of rain in a month can have on trying to get not only a crop in the field, also trying to just do hobby food plots. You're not going to hit the ball out of the park every year. I got a good stand, what I would call a good stand of corn over here. You can roll it real good. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's at 4 leaf stage in some spots, but it'd almost be time to spray this part. It came in really good here, and like I say, I planted this, and you can see where the water stood here. Big time water standing right there. But that corn up through there, well, I'm satisfied with that. It for the conditions that it had to go in and the time, I mean, it's running like a wild man, trying to get that in as fast as you could. The main thing I want you to take away from this video is, no matter how prepared you are or how dedicated you are, when you're working the soil, Mother Nature is going to have and hold the winning hand. Last year she gave us perfect growing conditions. This year she gave us at the other end. She'd be bipolar per se. So I don't know. You just gotta deal with it. And I'm gonna get in here and get this corn sprayed in here and kill off some of the stuff that's in here. Is the oats, forage oats that I put in here last year that reseeded themselves. So that's not a bad deal, but I want to get these weeds out of here in this area. But like I said, it's amazing that this corn even grew this good. And up on top, it just must have got hammered with the downpours. That's why it didn't germinate as well, because of the openness and the beating it took. I'm gonna take you across the road and show you my neighbor's cornfield, and he planted it in April. And he ain't any better off than I am. This is the cornfield across the road. This was planted in April. This corn is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 leaves high in places, and other places it's struggling. But the weeds really got in there. This has been sprayed. Sprayed it the other day. It was wet, but just trying to show you, as you pan across there, it's just been, and this was sprayed, I think Sunday, and was planted in April. So if you have setbacks as a food plotter, don't worry about it, because this is what the real deal looks like. Now you can see this without that corn residue on this, because this was in beans last year. You can see the dust actually flying. But what I got going against me across the road is the corn residue, which is a good thing in one way for no-till. Stops erosion, plus it holds the moisture. But right now it's really going to be a challenge to try to get the planter to go through that wet corn stalks. Well, as you can see in the background, another thing, the pond's clear full, and it held up with that onslaught of water. So, grass is tall, but it is wet, wet, wet. There's no guarantees when you put seed in the ground, and I want you all to go out into the food plotting, and that's become quite popular. Just remember, you can do everything right and get miserable results. You just got to reload and try again. Well, we got one disc cooked up, but we're not going to disc right now. I'm going to take you up and show you why. You can see the tire track left in this trail. And that's nothing unusual, but that's just showing you it's still wet. And it's in the timber, so naturally it's not gotten any sun or much wind. But I want to take you up on the field. Yeah, over my shoulder, that looks like that could be a thunderstorm headed this way. And that's the last thing you'd want to be doing, is tearing up the dirt and then raining. But here's what I want to show you. Now if I dig in this dirt, I'll show you how much moisture is in there. If I turn that over, it's drying. I can do the ribbon test on it. And that's falling apart pretty good. So that don't make much of a ribbon on it. So the moisture content is going down. That's what you call ribbon test. You can also see how hard pan that dirt is. But it's pretty hard to make a ribbon. Well, there's a little one, but that's not much. But I'll show you over in this other area. This dirt, if it gets some air to it, another day of drying, it's going to disc up a whole lot better. Now if we go into areas like this, let's see what kind of moisture content's in there. There again, it's drying out. You can't make a ribbon with it. And I'll show you a spot, if I can find a spot, what I mean by a ribbon. That's breaking up pretty good. But if I let it go another day, if I could get some direct sunlight on this, it would help dry it out. But you notice the crust on it. That's why that corn had a real hard time to emerge, where it got beat down. And You see how thick that is. That crust right there is almost 2 inches thick. And so when you plant the corn, that's an inch, one inch, and it would be inch and a half of thickness in that crust, which this is intense. So it's almost 2 inches when you have that crust on there, and that's what right there. There's a full 2/10 right there, and that's over 2 inches. So that corn seed was trying to push up through this, and that's what really made it hard to germinate. Some areas it did, other areas it struggled where it got beat down. Try to make the ribbon test here. Just let you know if it's too wet, which it is. When you take that dirt, and this is still breaking up, but it will make a ribbon. There we go. That will make a ribbon. And if you can roll that in your hands and get that, that's called the ribbon test. That's too much moisture to plant in. All that'll do is compact. Like I say, I can make that. That's a pretty good ribbon right there. If I roll it out there. There's your ribbon test. Now you've seen where I couldn't make a ribbon in this field, but there's still places where you can make that ribbon. So the corn's in here and it's struggling. But different areas of the field are going to emerge at a different rate. But if you can make a ribbon by rolling that dirt together, don't plant. It's too wet. What we're going to do is we're going to dig that corn plant up, and I'm going to show you that small seedling. Hopefully we can get the whole. As you can see, that it had to come through there. Now, it wasn't planted too deep. That's 2/10. That would be right on the money. And if we can break this apart real careful, bear with me. There's the corn seed that we planted on May 16th. And basically it's got about 2 collars. That's 1 and 2. Well, I don't know, might even call it just 1 collar. But there's the seed. And you can see it set the roots straight down, and that wasn't any more than an inch and a half in the ground. But it's really been beat down. So all we can do now is wait to see if it'll come up. Now it's got up, the sunlight can get to it, maybe it'll take off. But it's going to be really set back. It's amazing something that small can grow to be almost 10 feet tall out of that one little seed right there. Now they're in the ground, but they're really emerging slow. And it got the moisture, but the compaction with that rain was Unprecedented. That's that's why growing corn for food plots, especially in a wet year, can really be challenging. And it's costly. That bag of seed corn was around $280. So you can see, and then the fertilizer on top of that. But, you know, who knew you was going to get that kind of rain? So let's venture back here to the alpha rack and see how that's coming along as a perennial versus an annual. But the reason I do this for you people on this hunting channel is so you can learn from it. Because the way I see the rest of these hunting channels, all they talk about is dumping dope on the ground and dumping it on a tree stump. And that don't help you at all if you're really going to try to be a food plotter. So that's why I go to these extremes, to show you stuff like this and the diversity of it. So it's really, we're going to go over here and I'm going to show you, dig up a corn that's maybe 3 collars high. Well, as we dug that out, that has 1, 2, 3 full collars. This one has 1. Seed still attached. You can see the root system on it. The dirt was really compacted from the rain because I had this field disced up and it was really soft. But then again, when it was that soft, it just beat it down with that 10 inches of rain. Just something to think about, and there's a little seed corn still on there, so it's still sending out roots from it. So, just things you need to know to keep your spirits up on a down year on trying to grow corn. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Damn, this ain't good. That looks like rain coming out of the sky way back there. So far, my plan of not disking is proved out to be the right thing. Well, you see down there on the pond what was coming our way. That's why I elected not to start disking. They just opened that ground up and it would have just been more susceptible to suck in more moisture, which we don't need, and it would just added to the compaction. And since daybreak, virtually no wind blowing other than me talking. Not a heavy rain, but with as much moisture as out there, it don't need any more.